All right, we're going to get started, folks. My name is Jonathan Jones, and it's my pleasure and privilege to be your host and moderator for the evening. Jeff Ashby is my co-host. Today is Thursday, and it's July the 28th, 2022, and it's just a couple of minutes after 6 o'clock. We have a few folks that are with us, some names that I don't recognize. So if you are here for the first time, we applaud you and we welcome you. Whoever invited you, they thought very, very highly of you. And they urged you to attend this meeting, not because you were going to be hearing from some doctors and not because you were going to be hearing something, should I say, new and inventive. It may be because it may be new to you. It may be new to some people. But it certainly is, from my point of view, a lot of old information that I feel personally is not fair, that has not been told. So because I believe that everybody should hear about it, then my wife and I, we have dedicated as much time as we possibly can to telling people that there are simple things that we can do to improve our health and our well-being. As I mentioned, I'm not a medical doctor. The information that you hear on presentations like this is for information and educational purposes only. Please do not do anything I say do just because I say it. Add this information to your personal repertoire. Add it to your library. Take this information into consideration when you make decisions about your health and well-being. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. You're going to be hearing testimonials, personal stories from individuals who claim that some of the nutritional supplements that they have ingested made a difference in their life. Please recognize that the statements have not been evaluated by the FDA, and results may be atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. Neither Engage Global, myself, Jeff Ashby, or Healthcare Support Association of America, none of us are making any claims about any of these supplements being a treatment or cure for any disease. Only the government can declare something to be a treatment or cure for disease. Okay, so that's not what we're saying at all. But we are saying that supplements can make a difference in how your body responds to a situation that is not normal for your body. And that's what we're looking to do, is help people to see how they can empower their immune system, their body to work properly. So what are we going to be talking about tonight? We want to share with you a couple of stories that you will find quite compelling. The first one, we related a couple of times this week, but doesn't matter. You're here for the first time, and we want you to hear it. So please take note as Jeff cues up this video of Iris telling her journey with cancer, and take note of how she said her body responded when she added appropriate nutritional supplements to her diet while she was dealing with all kinds of conventional treatments. Please, Jeff, share that with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan. Here is the video that we captured just here on Sunday night. So this is Iris.
Most of you know that I did have cancer. I think it was 2018. And I met I've been knowing Mr. Lewis for a long time. But then, she introduced me to the micro daily. So with God in prayer and Miss Levette, I decided that I would go ahead on and take the macro dailies. And I did it before I had surgery. So I needed to get it in my system. So once I got it into my system, when I had my surgery, I did not have any pain. I did good. Then after that, I did 8 rounds of chemo. And chemo it's poison. It's a lot of poison that's going inside. Okay, didn't get sick one day because I was constantly taking my macrodaily, constantly. Then I did 33 rounds of radiation. Didn't get sick, didn't hurt. So now I'm on this thing called tamoxifen. It's the pills after cancer. And one of the side effects is the bones. I should be aching all over. But because, God has prepared me along with Ms. Levette to be great, of course, he allowed me to not have any pain whatsoever. And I go around, I talk to my clients about, a lot of them have blood pressure problems, all of these different problems. I'm like, you know what? I had cancer, and this micro daily, it attacked that cancer. And I tell you, I'm just grateful. And that's my testimony.
You know what, Jonathan, in the middle of sharing Iris with everybody on the call tonight, Iris came into the room. And so how would that be to have you talking about you and your incredible experience and then having you come on and seeing yourself doing it? That is the power of a strong testimony. And with Iris being here, I'm going to go ahead and see if she feels comfortable is in a situation just to open up her microphone, because we have to extend a big debt of gratitude to Iris and she caring about so many other people around her. How was that to come on and see yourself on screen, Iris?
Hello, hi everyone. First of all, it was kind of funny. I turned it on and I'm like, my God, that somebody look like me. But it was amazing. And I tell you, that's when God give us a test, that testimony will go even without us. It's going to go. And just keep on sharing it to the world. It's okay.
That was amazing. And I'm telling you that, it probably got you to sign up again just because you're so passionate about this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, it's a wonderful thing, Iris. Iris, we can't. We appreciate your being willing to share your story and be open about it. Someone asked me the other day and said, "Wait a minute, boy, people are really not concerned about sharing their personal health story," and it's a testament to the fact that you want other people to know, because it's possible that someone else could benefit from the story just like you did. So, thank you.
Yes. Yes, you are so welcome. I often tell people, every time we go through a test, it's for us to share. And we can't be great if we do it alone. And see, as long as we are sharing with others, letting them know that they can live and not die but declare the works of the Lord, then guess what? I want them to be great along with me.
Well, that's wonderful. That's the right attitude. That's the right attitude to have, because it doesn't make any sense to have something good and not share it with someone who could benefit from it. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So thank you very much, Iris,
You're
for being willing to share your story. So, and thank you, Jeff, for including both the recording and the real life Iris into the conversation. Thank you. So, folks, what we're going to do tonight is we're having a very brief discussion, and this kind of gives you an idea of where our discussion is going to go tonight. It's a very brief Engage Global presentation. You heard Iris's cancer story, and we're going to show you a little bit about how it's possible that any one of us could find ourselves being exposed to carcinogens, even without our being aware of it. But then we're going to show you how you can make your body resistant to a weed killer that has actually shown up in our diet. So then after that, we're going to want to hear your story. We're going to hear what you might have to say about how you might have benefited from any of the Engage Global products. So as I mentioned, here's what we're going to show you a little bit now. Did you know that there are toxins in our environment that can have an impact on how we feel? Everybody knows that. We know that it's possible that it could be in the water. We know it could be in the air. And we know that there's toxins all around us. But a lot of folks don't realize just whatever your favorite search engine is and just punch in the word weed killer urine study. And you'll find out the same thing that I found out, and the same thing a lot of people have found out, that they have this study revealed that 80% of all adults and children tested positive for weed killer in their urine. And that's a CDC study. So you can go to the CDC's website and see it for yourself. 80% of all adults and children tested positive for weed killer in their urine. Now, does that give you chills to hear that? That means out of the 15, 20 people that are on this call right now, there's only a few that would not right now manifest weed killer in your urine. The question you should be asking yourself next is, well, how? How is weed killer showing up in my urine? I'm not a gardener. I don't use weed killer outside. I'm not bathing in it. Where is it coming from? Well, this is where the sad part of it comes in. I also went on a search engine and put in the word weed killer in cereal. And for years now, as far back as 2019, research has shown that weed killer is in common breakfast foods, including Cheerios, including Quaker Oat brands, General Mills brands. Now, General Mills, to their credit, has promised that by, I believe, the year 2023, 2024, that they were going to remove weed killer from one or two of their products. So that's good. That's commendable that they're going to take it out of a couple of their products. Do you understand that that means that they are indirectly admitting that there's weed killer in the food? You understand that, right? So there's weed killer in the food. Now, just in case you're wondering if that's all factual, here's a CNN article. And if you scroll through the article, it'll give you all of the different brands, Cheerios, Nature Valley products. And these are all known carcinogens now. Glyphosate, weed killer, is a known carcinogen. It's 100% known that weed killer is a carcinogen. In fact, this article, see if I can scroll down to it before my computer freezes up again. There it is. Juries say glyphosate causes cancer and awards billions. And there have been tens, since this article was written, tens of billions of dollars have been awarded to individuals whose lives have been affected by weed killer. So my question to you is, just take a moment to try to process that. Wrap your mind around the fact that something that you could be eating in the morning, something that your child, a family member, could be eating, is contaminated with a weed killer, and it's going into the body. Does it give you any solace to know that scientists and the government says it's not enough in there to hurt you? Does that make you feel any better? Sorry, it doesn't make me feel any better either. But the sad fact is that some people are actually developing serious diseases as a result of that contaminant being in the food. The worst part about it is there's no warning label on the product that tells you that it could be in there. Now, would you likely buy something that says danger? This product contains weed killer? Show of hands, anybody, just raise your digital hand. If you would buy something that had a warning label on it that says danger, this contains weed killer in trace amounts, would you buy it? How come no hands went up? Oh, okay, we just got a shock face, but no hands up on this one yet. Okay, I know I'm just kind of being ridiculous, right? Well, we promised that we we're going to tell you how you can potentially get rid of weed killer out of your body. And that's what we're going to do right now, is just give you a little bit of an overview of something that you can add to your diet that could offset any contaminants in your body, not just weed killer. Have you ever heard of glutathione? Glutathione is the most powerful antioxidant that your body makes. Your body manufactures it. It's so powerful that it can bind to any toxin or free radical in your body, liquefy it, and pass it out of your body as waste. That's how powerful glutathione is. And it's Dr. Prasad that was wise enough to know that that was an important component to add to his formula that has been made available to the military back less than 10 years ago, but now is made available to the public. This brochure kind of gives you an explanation as to how we came to have this incredible product. Originally, as I said, it was manufactured for the military. The packaging you see is up there at the top right, little brown package. It was designed to fold over flat and fit right into the pockets of the military fatigue. Just as you see that soldier jumping across that fence, it would fit right in that little pocket on his thigh. And that's where that little packet would be. He could take just 2 of them on the top in the morning and 2 on the left side, and then 2 on the right side. That was actually capable of sustaining life. There's enough nutrients in there that it could actually sustain life, even if he was not able to get any other food. And if you've been watching any of the information about the war that's taking place in Ukraine, that's one of the biggest problems that the Russian army was providing adequate nutrients for their troops. Solved here in this country was by providing this product. It was originally called Military Micronutrient Formula, or MMF. And now it's called Microdaily. And there's a timeline as to how it was born, 2001, all the way over to when it became available to the general public through the company Engage Global. That's who we're dealing with right now. So Microdaily was finally approved. This is after veteran and clinical trials were completed. And again, for a while, it was only available to the military. This is the brilliant mind behind the formulation of the product, Microdaily. It used to be called MMF, Military Micronutrient Formula, now called Microdaily. It is the same formula. Dr. Prasad has since then improved on it twice. Twice he's improved on that formula. One time he just made B9 and B12 more absorbable by putting them in the methylated form. And then the second time that he improved on the formula, he added 4 ingredients that further helps the body to deal with radiation. Because back when he first formulated the product for the military, there was radiation issues that he was taking into consideration. In fact, as you'll see on his accolades there, that he's the world's first radiation biology PhD. So he knew a little something about radiation. So he factored that into the original formula. But you see, 5G wasn't born yet. And even at that time, the type of radiation coming from these cell phones was not nearly as intense as it is today. And because of 5G, it didn't just go up 3 or 4 times. It went up 60 sometimes to 100 times more radiation. And as a result of that, even more people are being exposed to sources of cancer, cancer-causing sources. So Dr. Prasad improved on the formula, but this is the brilliant scientist behind it. He's not just a run-of-the-mill scientist and doctor. He's been published more than 250 times. He's authored. He's working on his 32nd book right now. It says 29 here in the brochure, but he's now working on his 32nd book. So that's the kind of mind that we're dealing with here. He's partnered with the man, David Nemelka, you see on the left, and has gone on to repackage the product in a bottle, the green bottle that you see right there. That's the original formula called Microdaily. What are the ingredients? It would appear as though it's nothing special. Vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, B3, B12, CoQ10, alpha lipoic acid, N-acetylcysteine, beta carotene, except that in this case, after decades of research, Dr. Prasad figured out that this particular combination was exactly right. Then he figured out the exact quantities of each one that was optimal for human health. Then he figured out where it had to come from to be the absolute best source of each ingredient. Dr. Prasad put forth that effort. The government ponied up about $15 million worth of that research, and then other private investors, another $10 million. So $24 million worth of research to come up with these little green capsules. Give you one example. Look on the left side of the screen there. The third item down is vitamin E Succinate. What do you know about vitamin E besides the fact that it's good for your skin? Admittedly, I didn't know much myself. I had no idea all the benefits of vitamin E. What's even more embarrassing is that I didn't know that there was multiple forms of vitamin E. There's about six to 8 forms of vitamin E. Dr. Prasad is the scientist that figured out exactly which one of the many forms of vitamin E just so happen to be cytotoxic to cancer cells. Dr. Prasad is the scientist. You can do the research on it yourself, because it turns out vitamin E succinate, specifically vitamin E succinate, is cytotoxic to cancer cells. I remember the first time I met him was in Atlanta back, I don't know, about 6 or 7 years ago. And I asked him, I said, Dr. Prasad, are you trying to say that this product will get rid of glioblastoma? And that's a brain cancer. He said it would if we could deliver enough of it into the brain. So the amount that it would take to get rid of it in the brain could potentially be toxic to the rest of the body. So he knew exactly, where the conversation was going. And that's the reason why, there's no claim that this product is a treatment or cure for cancer. So we're not saying that at all. But the research behind it tells you a great deal. I just told you about the combination, quantity, and form. Dr. Prasad, his research, that's what coined that seal. So if you don't see that seal on a product, that CQF standard, if you don't see that seal, then that product is substandard. That's all we can say about that. It's substandard. It has not met the standard that the brilliant man, Dr. Kedar Prasad, established. On the left side of the screen, you see what happens to a cell. That's just a little drawing that shows you that a healthy cell, normal cell, looks clean, looks almost like a marble, as opposed to one a little bit toward the right with those orange dots on it. Those are representing free radicals. And for the sake of our conversation, that's kind of what glyphosate or weed killer would do to your cells. That's how cells become carcinogenic, because of weed killer. It's just a toxin, and toxins can do damage to cells and do damage to DNA in the body. Dr. Prasad even made a children's formula. And by the way, the screen you're looking at right now, that's the formula that Dr. Prasad added the 4 additional ingredients to make it so that our bodies could deal with 5G radiation exposure. And once again, I'm a little bit embarrassed because Dr. Prasad produced this a few years ago, and I sort of ignored it because I really thought the original formula was the best, and I just couldn't see going to this more expensive formula, as if $20, my health was not worth $20. But I just thought the other one's good enough. The other one's good enough until I started taking this one. And it could be the fact that I'm older now. I hit 60, then maybe that's the reason why I'm noticing that I need something better. I need something better than what a 21-year-old soldier on the battlefield would need. And so I'm thankful that this one is available to me. So personally, I take 6 of these in the morning, and then I take 4 later at dinner time. So I personally am just taking 10 of these capsules per day. And if you're taking the normal dose, it would be 3 in the morning and 3 in the evening. But I double my dose in the morning, and I take a little bit extra in the evening. And I find that for me, the aches and pains and other issues that I normally would have, I don't deal with any of those things at all. I love the CBD boost too, by the way. And I'm not going to linger on the CBD boost, but you could Google it. Turns out CBD helps the body avoid, it makes it difficult for spike proteins from certain viruses to attach themselves inside the body, because CBD fills up those receptors. So I take 1 of these a day. I should be taking 2 a day, but I have my wife, I told her to do the same thing, to make sure she takes at least 1 every day. It fills up the receptors, especially in the brain, that the spike protein could attach itself to. So I would encourage everyone to add that to your diet also. Just 1 a day, that's all you need. If you take it at night, you'll sleep a lot better. But it plugs up those receptors. And it turns out there's the new study that was just released yesterday or today, by the way, that shows that the spike protein itself is harmful to the heart. They found out that it's not just a rare occurrence in young boys and young men. They found out that the spike protein is harmful to the heart. And that's a published study that just came out. We'll talk a little bit more about that on one of our weekend discussions. But Dr. Prasad formulated a couple more products too, a brain boost, an eye boost, and all of them are absolutely amazing products. all held to the same CQF standard. You'll find that seal on all the products that Dr. Prasad has formulated. It has to be there if it's going to have his name on it. So before we wrap up our discussion, I want you just to look at this screen. And sometimes when we look at a page in a book that doesn't have a lot of pictures on it, we tend to only fixate on the pictures, and that's it, what pictures there are. So that's fine if you want to do that. And if you are doing that, I want you just to take a look at the lung tissue right there. Now, that's a picture of the lungs of two different rabbits. And these are two rabbits that gave their all for science. They were both exposed to lethal doses of radiation. Can you tell the difference between the two? The rabbit on the left, you see how it's labeled underneath there? It says placebo. Well, that rabbit was fed with rabbit food with a placebo in it. The one on the right was fed with rabbit food that had some of Dr. Prasad's formula in it. They both died from the lethal radiation, but look at the difference in the lungs. The one on the left looks like it had a 10 pack a day smoking habit. I'm going to get it out right. I need to just get me a brain boost. Where's my brain boost around here? I don't see my bottle. Anyway, the one on the left looks like it has a 10 pack a day smoking habit. The one on the right looks fresh and like nothing ever happened. Now imagine going through life and being exposed to radiation and lungs are deteriorating like that. You think shortness of breath might manifest itself, as opposed to the one on the right, where you're fully oxygenated, your brain is wide alert. If you did one of those tests with oxygen at your fingertips, you'd have 98% saturation all the way at your extremities, fingers and hands and everything else, because your lungs are working at full capacity. That's the difference between having this formula in our bodies and not. And one more little thing I really want you guys to take note of. It's kind of my favorite part of the entire discussion, because this is what made me pivot on my heels in my first direction with Jeff and Helen Ashby. It's this part right there. Can you read that? Write the number down, 7605145. That's a patent. The United States issued a patent for Dr. Prasad's formula for the treatment of diabetes. Now, by law, we can't say that this is a treatment or cure for anything. By law, we can't say that, but I can read you the name of that patent and you can look it up for yourself. And then you decide whether there's some value to this. And I would like to challenge anybody to show me any other nutritional supplement, any other vitamin in the world that carries a patent that includes the words treatment for diabetes. Please just show me anything. I'd love to hear about it. But it goes on, and there's one here dealing with pulmonary and heart health. I just love the sound of that. I like my heart working as healthy as possible, and I love my lungs being able to breathe well. And that's what Dr. Prasad put together in this formula. Now, this last slide I'm going to show you, look it over carefully and just ask yourself a question. With the person who wrote these books, would you conclude that they knew a little something about cancer? Is that the conclusion that you would draw? If you looked at all the titles here, would you conclude that this person maybe knew a little something about cancer? Is that what you would say? Would you? Perhaps you would. You might conclude that if someone wrote these books right here, they know a little something about cancer. Or I missed one or two, right? It seems like the list just goes on and on and on. And there may be one more here that I can't see, but there it is. Those are just the ones he wrote on cancer. But I have to still say my favorite is still the ones on diabetes. Diabetes is what got me motivated to change careers, because I saw what diabetes did to my mother, and I saw what diabetes did to my father-in-law. And diabetes is horrible. It is the most horrific, most horrible thing that there is. And there's some doctors, some scientists who believe that diabetes and heart disease should be should be one and the same. And that's the reason why I marked this one here called Fight Heart Disease, while I was marking the one called Fight Diabetes, because in my mind, I still classify the two together. So, but would you conclude that this person here knew a little something about micronutrients and serious diseases? I draw that conclusion too. And it's Dr. Prasad that wrote all of these books. He's the author or the co-author to each one of those books. So ask yourself a question, folks. Is it in my best interest to add these products to my diet? Is it in your best interest to add these products to your diet? Would it be wise to make sure that your family members knew about these products and had access to them? I think it would be. I think it would be very wise to do so. And that's the reason why I take it. My mother-in-law takes it. My sister-in-law takes it. My brother, my brother's taking it every single day. He definitely attributes his life. He's a year older than me. He's convinced that he's alive because of these products. All my sister-in-laws are also taking the products. So everyone in my immediate family, anyone around me now is taking it. I will not be in a position to not be able to give you an adequate explanation as to why these things should be going in your body. So I encourage you all, invite anyone that you care about to hear presentations like this. We have these presentations on Sunday at 5, Tuesday at 7:30, Thursday at 6 o'clock. Remember the schedule, please. And it's the same code, same Zoom ID number, and same password every single one of my meetings. Sunday at 5, Tuesday at 7:30, Thursday at 6 o'clock. Invite anyone that you care about to these presentations. We'd be more than happy to try to help them to understand the value. Now, we have one more little special treat. We're going to be shutting down our meeting here very, very shortly, but we wanted to share one more story with you. And this story includes multiple different health issues, according to the gentleman telling the story. But it also includes something called, I think it's squamous cell carcinoma, some kind of a cancer on the side of his head. And his daughter was also diagnosed with a form of stomach cancer. So Jeff, can we share that story, Jeff?
Absolutely, Jonathan, and it's my pleasure. I'm just looking here at the time. I know both of us have another meeting to go to, but can you give me like 2 more minutes before we get into David's explanation? I just feel like that, with you teeing it up so well with the diabetes and Dr. Prasad's research into diabetes and having a patent on diabetes, I want to make a bridge that actually takes that diabetes and references some other things that we are facing. Those of you who understand Michi Morris's mom and what went on there. This was a video that I found that I had captured several years back when Dr. Prasad was being interviewed by Dr. Court in Portland, Oregon. And let me just share this quickly. And it's only a couple of minutes long, but you'll see that correlation. So here you go.
Good. Very good. Thank you.
And 60th peer-reviewed paper on Alzheimer's and dementia. And what journal was that in?
It was a mechanism of development and aging.
Right. So I know that seems to be a hot topic for people. And when we were talking last day, we were talking about whether it's genetic. Alzheimer's is genetic. And my sister actually put out a thing on Facebook about that my grandfather and my mom and my dad all have had Alzheimer's. And you said, how old? And I said, well, they were all 80. And you said, oh, it's acquired. It's not genetic.
No.
And I kind of sat back and he goes, hey, you don't need to get that. You don't need to get that.
No,
you can take something for that. You can put it in your body. You can decrease your oxidative stress.
Right.
You can increase your antioxidants.
Right.
And you don't have to get that. Or you can actually prolong the onset of many of these chronic diseases if you can decrease the inflammation and the oxidative stress in your body.
That's correct.
Well, I think that's a great lunch topic. And then there's another one that we talked about, which is actually Alzheimer's, is called diabetes type 3. That's what they're starting to lean towards.
Say that again?
They're calling it diabetes type 3. Mhm.
Really?
And yep. And so we have another study coming out from MMF, another human study on diabetes. And I know you can't give us too much about that,
No, only thing there,
but can you give us anything?
only thing I can say, it is a double-blind placebo-controlled trial in Washington, and they on veterans, because they have very high incidence of just like civilian diabetes. So one group is getting a standard care, another group is getting a standard care plus placebo, another group is getting a standard care plus MMF. And that study should be completed in July. But problem that I have faced in the federal.
Anyway, I'll just cut it off there. I know time-wise, we wanted to get to David's comments, but just making that connection there, understanding
Type 3.
we've
Mhm.
Yeah.
Type 3 diabetes. Yeah. Good.
so definitely this is why it's working so well for Michi Morris's mom, is she's getting the microdaily in there and then adding this beta amyloid killing, plaque is just absolutely amazing. So, but let's just transition quickly. I just wanted, there's got to be somebody on here because I was prompted to share that aspect of it. And so thank you for allowing me the time. Here is David, and this was just from Sunday a week ago.
I told her about these. I had an operation here on the side of my temple where they had to remove a very aggressive skin cancer known as squamous cell carcinoma. And I noticed I had 3 more moles coming up like a feeder that maybe they had missed.
Mm.
And so, being the good person that Alfreda is, she didn't tell me about it. She came to my home and started telling me all about this microdaily. And I did what she said. Started taking triple doses of the. Matter of fact, I just made me one. Very simple to use. It's like Crystal Light. And I was drinking 3 of those a day and doubling up on the micro daily hydro. And I did that for a little over a month. I had high blood pressure problems. I was able to reconnect with my original doctor. He had all my previous testing and pallets from all the different blood tests, etc. Well, the high blood pressure had already damaged my kidneys. And I went to a different doctor, and she wanted me to do, because of my age, she wanted me to do everything from a colonoscopy to you name it. I said, I'm not doing that. So he said, no, I understand where you're coming from. Let's just start with the blood test and we'll go from there. Your blood pressure medicine's not working. You're 200 over 140 and close to having a stroke, I assume. That's what I've been told. And so he increased the amount of losartan that he was giving me. He said, I want to see you in about a month. And so in that month, I'd been taking micro daily, the regimen that I described. And I had to go to a lab where they took the blood tests, and they did from A to Z all the different things between diabetes and my kidneys and the high blood pressure and yada, yada, yada. Prostate. When I came back to see him, he says, David, I don't know what you're doing, but your prostate, you're in the 1% or less that'll never get prostate cancer. As I can't detect any more damage on your kidneys. Your high blood pressure is at 130 over 80. Diabetes, you're never going to have it. Your whatever they measure
A1C.
A1C, it's off the chart good. It's 5.3.
Wow.
Yes, it was close to maybe a 10.
Yeah.
And in 5 days.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. You called me.
The 3 lesions from the cancer that had come back had fallen off.
Wow.
Right.
He says, I don't know what you're doing, but keep on doing it.
Wow. Wow. That's
Now, I'm gonna tell you another story. Same identical
remarkable.
thing. My daughter, stage 3 cancer. She has a lymphoma in her stomach.
Wow.
She's on chemo. We're giving her a thing called in HER2. And I suggested that she start micro daily, et cetera, triple doses. And this past week, she got a phone call. She's been going through this for about 2.5 months. She's on the micro daily for a month. And her doctor told her the exact same thing that I heard from my doctor. I don't know what you're doing, but keep on doing it. There's no trace of cancer. Don't stop doing it. She still has an appointment in Tennessee to see her oncologist because this returned. She had the cancer 4 years ago. And when a person of her age, young, has a reoccurrence, it's a 84% mortality rate.
Yeah.
It's very high. It comes back and it comes back stronger than ever. And there's not she's got 4 kids.
Wow. Wow. David,
So we only wanted to supplement what they were doing with the doctor. It wasn't that this was a cure-all, but it damn sure helped.
wow.
Yeah.
David, we applaud you. And we're so happy that you got the results that you got. We have to just tell everybody that results are atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Engage Global, myself, Alfreda, Jeff, we're not making any medical claims. We don't claim that micro daily, hydro, collagen daily will treat or cure any disease. But David, thank you for sharing your story.
I'm so glad you listened.
Well, almost every time we hear stories like that, it almost brings a tear to your eye each time. Thank you very much, Jeff, for relating both of those videos for us. I think we needed to hear that. So there you have it, folks. We've already explained to you that the statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of a professional that you trust. Don't do anything that we say just because this meeting and this information is for educational purposes only. We do research and we have no problems to the fore so that you can have it at your fingertips and you can make a decision about what you will do with regard to your health and well-being. Be your own health advocate. Be your own health advocate. Take charge of your health. Doctors prefer it when their patients are mentally and emotionally involved in their well-being and not just relying upon them to make them well. So take charge. The costs are minimal. Just get back with the person who invited you to this presentation tonight. They'll help you to figure out which one of the micro daily products is right for you. They'll help you figure that out. They'll help you set up a subscription so that you can get the deepest discount on the products. And it's that deep discount that keeps it within reach. If you are the kind of person that you care about other people and you want to tell other people about it, you can make referrals. That's fine. And connect them to the person who told you about it, or you can become an affiliate and get the referral thank you cards, I call it, from the company for telling someone else about what they can do to make themselves feel better, potentially. Okay. So again, for the record, folks, my name is Jonathan Jones. Today is July the 28th, 2022. It's been my pleasure and privilege to be your host and moderator for the evening. Jeff Ashby, my co-host. And we look forward to connecting with you all again on another occasion. This coming Sunday at 5 o'clock, we will have another presentation. Invite anyone that you care about. We'll be happy to give them an explanation as to how these products work. Until then, we have to rush off to another meeting. You folks have a good night. We'll see you again on Sunday, okay?
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, Jonathan. Good night, everybody. Great to have you on.
Good night. God bless.
Shirley.
Good night.
Thank you, Rob.
Automatically, so call now for your free 2022 no obligation Medicare benefits review. Just call 800.